So here we are again in the studio that is looking like a complete tip. For some reason I keep taking my studio apart and putting it back together again. I think I've gone mental. I've got far too many things to do anyway, so I don't know why I keep doing it to myself. I've got cables everywhere. I've even got like a radiator hanging off the wall. That's really, really quality. As you can see, I've got my camera set up. It's a bit dark in here, isn't it? Put that light on so you can see me, because I know you're desperate to. And so basically the reason why I took it all apart is because Tegeler Audio, our friends at Tegeler, who make these blue units, you've probably seen, you probably know the cream by now, if you've seen that. I've got one down there, let's have a quick look. Whilst we're down here, devastated, top one's come off. If you've got an Avalon 747, and if you haven't, you need one. They've stopped making them now, but these are the most flimsiest things ever, and they come off, so now that's stuck in. So I hope you like 32K when you master with me, because that's what you're getting, because I can't move it. So these, the Tegeler cream as well, I've kicked this, and look, now that just is moving all over the place. So now I've got to take that apart and fix that as well. It's just on and on and on, but you know, getting there. So anyway, back to the matter in hand, which is this unit. This is a Magnetismus, God knows. But basically, essentially, it's a compressor stroke, they say that it's a transient shaper. So we'll see about that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to, because I've got a load of tracks to master as well today, so I need to crack on, get the studio working again so it looks good and sounds good, and then I'll get into this and we'll run through it. So yeah, hold tight. I'll bang you on a stand so you can kind of get the vibe anyway. So I'm back to normal. I've got the room kind of, well, at least there's no wires everywhere. So now I need to measure it, and I've got a system called a Trinov. Now Trinov, as you can see down here, it's like SonarWorks, but like mental version. You get given this, well, you don't get given it, it's 600 quid, but it's a microphone. And essentially this mic it's got 4 prongs on it, which is supposed to resemble, I guess, your head, where you're going to put it in the sweet spot. But the great thing about Trinov, which SonarWorks doesn't do, is a lot of phase stuff. So you get this kind of like, where SonarWorks is kind of really 2D, Trinov gets this really kind of, it measures the whole room in one measurement, as you'll hear now. And it basically says really quick, where with SonarWorks you have to do loads, but this one does all of the room as well. So it measures the height of the ceiling against the walls and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty clever stuff. The main difference is this whole system's probably about £6,000, and SonarWorks is about 250. So it's a massive difference in cost, but you get your own computer system with it, and you get this little mic. So it's got this like weird cable that goes in at the bottom. There we go. So that goes in there. It's got a light at the front. It's got battery in it, so you can see the red light that goes on. So what I need to do is put this where I'm going to sit. So this measures the sweet spot of me, basically. So my ears are kind of about right. I'll put the chair behind it, because then that's obviously then going to measure the area how I want it. So what I'm going to do, it just plays white noise for like in one speaker, then it plays white noise in the other speaker, and then that captures it, and then it does its calculations based on the sound of the room and how it's calculated that. So yeah, let's try. And that's it. Sorry, I had to hide behind the chair. And that is the easiest way to calibrate your room. So after the calibration has taken place, then it's a quick flick through my Tidal playlist of all reference tracks that I like. The main one being Son, Tremors by Son, which I think I've mentioned in the past. Basically, yeah, sort of calibrating my ears now back to the room, It's always similar anyway, because I'm not really moving that much stuff around, but I'm just a bit, because it's only one kind of setting, then you might as well give it a spin and do it all the time really, just to kind of keep the room tuned up. But yeah, it's going to be similar because everything kind of stays in the same place. I don't like to move things, as I always say to you on the channel. Don't move things, keep things in the same place, keep consistency, keep things symmetrical. But the difference was I'd actually moved these back, these two pods, because I thought I'd like them here, because I thought they'd get in the way, and they do get in the way of the sound a touch, but I've kind of got used to it, and it's easier to use them when they're there rather than there. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's just a kind of, sometimes you have to compromise in other ways just to make actually work. I'd rather be able to go like that and hear what I'm doing rather than that. I can't see what I'm doing here, I can just sort of look, and then it makes my working process better rather than hearing it a little tiny bit better but my workflow being worse. So yeah, it's always a bit of a juggle. So as you can see from below, probably down there somewhere, we're getting close to 50k subs. And as you know, if you're an avid streaky watcher on YouTube, if you are, then get a life and go out and do something. Oh, you can't, it's locked down. But anyway, you know I'm giving away this Masalek as soon as I hit 50k. Now, if you don't believe I give things away, because loads of people are like, yeah, of course you do, Street, you're going to give that away. Well, here's someone who got some speakers off me.
Hi everyone, I'm Alessandro, and I'm a London-based producer and musician, and I wanted to say thanks to Streaky, as I'm the winner of the speakers giveaway. So I received these amazing ADAM Audio T5V, and I'm loving them. So thanks Streaky, thanks ADAM Audio, and yeah, keep doing the good stuff.
There you go, see, I do give things away. So you'll get this 50k, but you have to be a subscriber to the channel, so make sure you're subscribed, and then make sure you like this video, obviously, and in the comments just let me know what videos you want to see from me in the future. That's it really, you just got to be a subscriber, and you've got to be around when I hit 50k so I can tell you who's getting it. And so let's get on with looking at this new Tegeler that I've been sent over, which sits nicely on top of this this desk, as you can see. It's quite handy. It's got a couple of little knob edges on the end, so it'll sit there so I can review stuff for you. So this is essentially a compressor from Tegeler. They say it's like a transient designer in a way. Transients are the faster tacky things at the front of, say, snares, stuff like that. So it's kind of manipulating those to sound really nice. It's adding a little bit of juice, a bit of color, basically. So this front section here is pretty standard compressor section. This has got a threshold, so that's where it's going to start grabbing it. This is a timing. Now you don't have attack and release times on this. It's kind of an all-in-one button. I'm sure somewhere online it tells you whether it's faster or slower as it goes up like that, but I'm sure we can do that by ear. You can hear that it's nicely stepped, so that's good for recall. Then we have quite a variable ratio. Then we have a makeup gain. So you can see the gain reduction happening on this little meter here, and so you can then make up the gain to how much you're losing on the gain reduction, so that's quite cool. And then we've got this section here which is more of the kind of sound, the vibey, transient-y stuff. So this has got 3 different sounds, Ecian, probably saying that wrong, cobalt and nickel. So they're the kind of different sounds of that, and that's called a flux mode. Love that. And intensity does what it says on the tin, more or less. And then output, so we can, you know, change the output depending on what's coming in so that we can balance it up, or maybe give it a bit more. Apparently, if you use the makeup gain on this, it will drive more sound into this section. So the more you push into this section, the better, really, I think, because then we can see what happens. But what I'm going to do, let's have a little play with it. Then we can see what it sounds like. There's nothing really going on interesting on the back that you need to see. It's just some XLR inputs and a power lead. That's it. I mean, their boxes look pretty cool if you like this design. I think it looks rather nice. But the great thing about Tegeler is they don't overcharge for their gear. It's really nicely made stuff and it doesn't kill your wallet. I think this is probably a couple of grand, probably lying, but there's a price coming up on it now. But let's have a play, see what it sounds like. If you're into hardware and you don't have the Tegeler cream, then you should consider buying it. It's not that expensive, but it's something I use all the time. It's got like a Pultec EQ and a compressor on it, so it's really handy as a good bit of outboard. So that's a good thing from the Tegeler gang. So let's check this out. When I get a new bit of equipment in, I want to basically get it so it's totally flat in and out of the system. So to make sure everything's okay, I've just turned the track into a 20k test tone, a 1k test tone at -20, should I say, so that I can just then run it straight through, bypass it in and out, and make sure I've got 2 meters basically, one on the before and one on the after, and then make sure they're both lined up so exactly the same, so that when I'm playing through, it means that it's going to be totally flat, and then whatever adjustments I'm doing is going to be on the unit itself. But usually I won't touch the output and things like that, because then I know it's going in flat and coming out flat, and then any adjustments I'm doing within it, I can then hear what's going on, if that makes any sense whatsoever. That's basically what I'm doing. So I've got on this is the output meter is -23 on there. So I want to make this one -23 on there too. So I'm just going to keep the makeup gain on 0, and then the intensity on 0, timing's not going to matter, all that's not going to matter because I'm just going in and out. When I bypass it, it should be 23. So it's roughly 23.3. So it's not ideal. Does that make any difference? No. Okay, so it's got a hard bypass on it, which is cool. So I just need to make an adjustment on the A to D, the D to A, sorry, so that that's all totally flat going in and out. So now when I've got them both, everything's bypassed, and so I'm going in and out of the equipment at 23 there, as you can see. 23 out, 23 out, and 23 back in. So I've muted it because obviously you're sitting watching thinking, why the hell have I got a 1k tone going on me here? But because I'm deaf as opposed, didn't even hear a 1k tone until I looked at it on the screen. So I've muted that now, so you'll be happy. So let's just try and get this lined up. That's pretty good. I mean, we've got 1 dB of gain makeup on there, and so that's kind of flattish going in and out, not moving. So yeah, that's cool. Let's go with that. So get rid of the 1k tone, and then we should be in business to be able to hear it if I unmute. So the bonus of my room is that I have a switcher which is called a dangerous liaison, and I can just switch the bit of kit in and out. So I use this for switching different bits of equipment in and out of the chain, and so I can use it for this rather than having to use a bypass. A bypass usually has we'll put a click in it, so as you're hearing it, it's quite off-putting to have a click. Well, I don't seem to get any clicks on that. Well, he says that, but I can still hear a click, but you know what I mean? I can't hear a click on the audio. So I've had a little mess around with it after doing my little lineups, and at first I couldn't hear a thing that it was doing as normal, and so I was trying. Obviously I'm not going to read a manual because I'm male and I don't do that. I've had a play. I basically got to the point with it where what I realised was I needed to put more makeup gain in. This is probably obvious for anyone who's read the manual or bothered to read the manual. Put more makeup gain in because that's doing the kind of distortion-y sound, and then bring the output level down. So I got the balance doing that against in and out, so that I knew I wasn't getting any sort of fake level. So I had, so basically, yeah, makeup gain, which is essentially input, and then output down a bit. I kind of ignored the front end, which is the compressor. Just kind of got a bit bored of that instantly. I think that'd be really cool if you were using this on individual instruments or on channels, but because I'm using it across the whole mix, I'm really using it for the vibe of it rather than the compressor. I'm sure if I played with it more, I'd probably get some use out of the compressor, but I've got plenty of compression going on in the room, so don't need that. Then obviously the intensity is how much distortion and noise and stuff you're putting in, saturation and things, and then the 3 different flavors. So that's essentially it. So what I'll do now, I'll play going in and out. You'll see, I'll just hold the camera on here and I'll just go in and out so that you can hear the difference between the 3 different sounds, and I'll put some more intensity on and bypass anyway. I'll stop talking and show you what it does.
If I told you what I'm thinking of, would you marry me? Waking up slowly, dreaming of a holy kiss. Always been a dreamer, will you dream with me? If I should lose my way,
So if I want to stick some more makeup gain on this, you'll hear I'll do that now as I'm playing, and you'll hear obviously the level's going to go up, but also you'll hear that the distortion starts happening, which could be really cool for certain effects. For like when you're doing solo instruments, you can put loads of compression going in, get some sound, get some distortion going. So you know that could be fun. But let's show you that. So yeah, it's kind of weird. It's good for mastering, but I think it's probably better for mixing and instrument stuff. Now, maybe I'll give this away at some point. I'm going to sit with it for a bit. They've said that I can have it for a while, so let's see how I get on with it, and maybe I'll give it away to you guys if I don't end up using it a lot. And if I do, then unlucky. But don't forget to subscribe, because when I hit 50k, the Masalek is going someone's way. So see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.